Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11. After you go to Hebrews 11, we'll go to Colossians 1. Colossians 1. Hebrews 11 and Colossians 1. The number one problem you're going to find with every atheist and skeptic is that they cannot believe without seeing. That's their problem, is that they cannot believe without seeing. They cannot believe God exists, that He is real, that Jesus raised Himself from the dead, and all these supernatural, miraculous things, because they never saw it, all right? But here's the thing, is that the simple answer is, we don't panic about that, because our Christian faith is not based upon things that we see. Our Christian faith is based upon things that we don't see. However, the things that we don't see does not lack evidence. It has evidence. I'll explain that if that was too deep for some atheistic philosophers out there. Go to Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence. So faith has evidence, but notice, of things not seen. You see that? We don't see it. Now, the easy answer is this, okay? Just because you don't see it does not mean that there's no evidence for it, all right? For example, you never saw Alexander the Great. For example, you never saw Abraham Lincoln. For example, you never saw Julius Caesar. For example. But you believe they exist. Don't be hypocritical saying that, I don't believe Jesus and God and these supernatural miracles exist. That's impossible because I never saw it. No. Why do you believe those people existed? The answer is simple. Because there is enough evidence and reason behind it, see? So, for example, archaeological evidence. For example, manuscript evidence. For example, it's logistical, during that time and cultural period, etc. If there's some logic or reason or evidence behind it, see, they will believe it, see? That's the same thing with us. The reason why we believe God exists and all these supernatural things exist is not because we see it, all right? It's because there's enough evidence and reason behind it.
Amen.
That we have to believe it. That we have to believe it. It's that simple. Now, I don't have to give all the reasons and logic, but just a short version is this, is that how do we know God exists? Well, we have to believe that He created this whole world because of the laws of thermodynamics.
Amen.
Because what else can you say created this world? There are only 4 ways you can say it. The only 4 ways you can say it is that it always existed, all right, which is impossible. Matter and energy break apart, all right, according to the second law of thermodynamics. So it had to be created by something, all right? So then what? Then we have to say that it was created out of nothing, all right? So either something always existed that created that something or something, which is impossible, or it was created purely out of nothing. That's impossible,
Amen.
according to first law of thermodynamics, all right? Then this is all illusion. Well, unless you're out of a loony bin, then you'd believe that. No one in their right mind believes that. Or supernatural, something supernatural.
Yep.
See that? So there's no other way. I don't care what other scientific word or logic. It's impossible. Those are the only 4. Only 4. So that reason and logic demands, with the evidence of the laws of thermodynamics, it demands that there has to be a God. Not only that, if you look at the intense historical evidence through archaeology, especially of archaeologists that try to disprove the Bible, such as William Ramsey and other people, through that digging up archaeology, they found out that the Bible is true. That's why they had to believe in God in the Bible. Not only that, because not only that, but also the intense manuscript evidence. There is no other ancient document, no other book out there than the Bible. No other.
Right.
That has enough manuscript evidence that will tear any current history and science book apart today.
Amen.
The intense manuscript evidence is the Bible, you see. Not only manuscript evidence, but if you just look at the Bible, what is said about scientific statements, before even the scientists ever discovered it. In fact, there were some scientists that discovered scientific discoveries because of what they read in the Bible.
That's right.
I mean, I could give example. One quick example for those skeptics is, I believe, Matthew Maury. He believed what the Bible said in the book of Psalms, that there are paths in the seas. So then discovering that, he founded that certain waves in the seas have paths. And through that, he created maps. And because of that, that's why today, we're able to increase our knowledge of maps and navigation in seas thanks to him. Amen. See, if he didn't believe what the Bible said. Another person, he read in the book of Exodus about that there was oil in Egypt. and then digged up there and discovered oil in Egypt and became a millionaire, became a rich man. You see what happened? It's just tons of examples.
Yeah.
See? So, and not only that, but with the resurrection of Jesus Christ, with the number of, because the eyewitnesses were definitely real because of the ancient manuscripts that support it. There's no doubt about it. So these eyewitnesses that were real, there's only two things. They had to be lying or telling the truth then. That's the only way to get around it. So because we know these eyewitnesses are real through ancient document and intense historical evidence, then we have to conclude that they're lying or telling the truth. But if you said that they're lying, then that is some big lie that you yourself, that you are pressured to deny Jesus and claim that it's a lie if you were lying, or we torture your children and your family apart and have them torn apart by lions during that time period.
Yeah.
That is some lie that not just one person, but hundreds of people did,
Right.
who claimed they saw Jesus Christ. See? So you see, through all these arguments and logic and reason, that's why we conclude the resurrection of Christ is real, the Bible is real, and that God, His existence is real.
Right.
You see? Now go to Colossians 1. Colossians 1. Here's another thing you must understand, is that these people who say, you'd be surprised how much hypocritical they can be. If they say, unless I see it, then I'll believe it. And here's another thing. Some of these people will resort to science to get away with it. Well, if I can't see it, then, if it can be scientifically experimented and proven, which you can't do with miracles and with God, then you know what? Then I'll believe it. Well, that's a lie, because here's the thing, is that I guarantee you this. I know this for a fact. Every single person, including the hardest atheist, I know this. There were things in their life that they believed in without having to do the experiment themselves and without having to see it themselves. You know what one example is? Quick, easy example is that you just read a science textbook. Those scientists did the experiments, but you didn't do the experiment. And you just take it for their word that what they say is true, and you believe it by faith. Another thing, if the weather forecast told you, okay, the hurricane is coming, you're not gonna do a scientific experiment, go outside and do the weather and say, okay, is a hurricane coming? No, you're gonna believe what that meteorologist said, pack your bags and get out, and even though weather reports have been wrong many times. But the Bible never was wrong. It wasn't even 70% or 80% accurate. It was 100% accurate. And you're telling me that I'm stupid when it's warning me about a hellfire that's coming. This hurricane, hellfire. And that I pack my bags and leave and get saved in Jesus Christ. That's a dumb and foolish thing to do. You see? I guarantee you that. And I guarantee you that they believe in something without seeing. They do. They all do. Let's go to Colossians chapter 1. And we'll look at verse 16. Colossians 1, verse 16. For by Him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or powers. All things were created by Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and by Him all things consist. Notice right here that everything in this heaven, we believe, was created by Jesus Christ. Not only that, also look at Romans 1. Romans 1. Romans 1. It is common knowledge that when you see some sort of created thing, you see some sort of thing, that you would assume that something intelligent had to make that. So here's the thing. Those atheists never saw that this image right here, that it was created by someone. They never saw that. But they automatically assume, without seeing and without a scientific experiment, that this image was created by somebody. See? It is an automatic common sense. This is what is called common sense. All you have to do to get rid of common sense is to replace it with puffed up, unnecessary info of science. I believe in science, but you don't have to add unnecessary info that would get rid of your common sense. You see that? Too much education can get rid of your common sense.
Amen.
You see that? And they believe that without seeing, if I show them this watch, they believe without seeing and without scientifically experimenting that someone created this watch, that someone made this building, that someone created this and that and that. Well then, if the simplest devices in life you believe someone intelligent had to do it, that it couldn't create it by itself, how come then shouldn't it be more with something that's so complicated that should definitely be created by some intelligent being? Yeah, it definitely should. You know what's so amazing? They take a piece of watch, something small and simple, and they said that, oh, it can't be created by accident, had to be by a person. And then you take something so complicated like a human body, and they say, oh, it can be done by accident, you know, not created, not something intelligent that had to create it. What a leap of faith! You see this?
Yeah.
What a leap of faith! Who's the one that doesn't have common sense?
Yeah.
That is very amazing, you know. So go to Romans 1, verse 20. It's 20. Even the pagan heathen realized there had to be something supernatural that created this. See that? It is common sense. Romans 1:20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. You see that? Just looking at the creation of this world would make you believe, without seeing and without doing a scientific experiment, that there had to be something intelligent out there that had to put everything into this place so perfectly and beautifully. See?
Right.
That's just common sense. That even the pagan heathen knew that. That's why they had to build up idols of stone. Even they knew that. That's something supernatural had to do it. But all you have to do to be so foolish not to see it is verse 20. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And that is every evolution scholar and atheist scholar and PhD scholar and every common man, and every common atheist out there.